Simon, can you remember which platforms we stream to?
I think you're on LinkedIn, aren't you? And Twitter, Facebook. Have I got them all?
Yeah.
Are you on?
Sorry, everyone who's just dialed in live in the world of the internet and on Zoom. You know how the jeopardy of our Beanstalk.Global broadcast sometimes work, and we got lots of people from all over the world tuned in on FRESHPPACT. Denzel, do you want to just take us away and just tell us about FRESHPPACT and why you, Simon Derrick, otherwise known as Denzel from Blue Skies, is on, and why we've got the great Ebenezer from the University of Northampton's on. Denzel, take it away.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, Max. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I think, as you know, we've been doing a few of these broadcasts now about FRESHPPACT, about this initiative that we have set up, a research and development hub to look for solutions to work together with industry. That's the most important thing, so that we're working together with others who share similar challenges to ours, particularly in the fresh produce sector and the wider food industry as well, to then collaborate with research partners to go out there and find the solutions. So hence why we're working with the University of Northampton Centre for Sustainable Business Practices, and Ebenezer, who joins us on the call there, is part of that team who's coordinating a lot of the work to go out there and find those solutions, to do what I often talk about in terms of connecting the dots, finding those potential organizations, companies, institutions that might already have the solution or be on the verge of discovering or developing the solution that we just don't know about, and helping us to find out more about it. And Ebenezer will probably tell us more in terms of how that's going and where we've got to.
Denzel, before we go live with Ebenezer, everyone, you know what it's all like when you've got kids, and sometimes you have to look after your kids during work time. Well, Ebenezer is in that situation because he's got his beautiful daughter with him, so she might come into the conversation as well. Ebenezer, anything to add to what Denzel just said, please?
Nothing to add at all.
Ebenezer normally says a lot on our behalf, but I know he's looking to be very professional. And just for everyone on the podcast, I just want to reiterate about FRESHPPACT to really drive this point home, and also the messaging that we want to give out. FRESHPPACT: define the problem, discover the solution, change the world. The Fresh Produce Impact Hub, FRESHPPACT, brings together retailers, manufacturers, and agribusinesses operating within food supply chains rooted in developing or emerging economies to identify shared high-priority social and environmental challenges, and to work with research partners to accelerate the adoption of the most promising solutions through a process of rapid evaluation, testing, and adoption. And crikey, these two gentlemen, Denzel and Ebenezer, they've done I was going to swear, it's a hell of a lot of work in the respect of what they've looked to do to promote FRESHPPACT in the UK and overseas. Ebenezer's just back from America, from Chicago, where he's been attending various trade fairs. Denzel's been beavering away on this project, has been for, feels like it, Denzel, a couple of years now, 18 months. We've already done one fact-finding tour to Ghana, which was hugely interesting, hugely stimulating. And we've done a number of these type of broadcasts to further highlight FRESHPPACT and the direction of travel where we're looking to go. So Simon, Denzel, just reiterate again, what do we want to do from this broadcast today? What are we going to see, please?
Yeah, so thanks, Max. We are we're on the journey in terms of our call for proposals. So in terms of how we go out and find solutions, we are running a call for solutions, or a call for proposals, if you like. And the deadline for that is the 1st of December. So we're just in the final few weeks, really. And during this stage, as you mentioned, we've been attending trade shows, been connecting with lots and lots of stakeholders all over the world to try and find those solutions. And we know that a lot of the people we've been talking to are looking for collaborations, they're looking for commercial partners, and some are looking for help as well in terms of how they can develop these solutions further. So what we are hosting today, with your help, Max, is this showcase webinar bringing together and to present some of the ideas from some of the organizations that we've been talking to. And I know they've been putting a lot of work into developing these proposals, so that we can get a sense of some of those solutions that are out there. It's about knowledge sharing, but it's also about trying to see whether there's a potential to actually link some of these organizations together, whether, by sharing information about their ideas, whether there are others that are listening, tuning in now, or who watch this at a later time, who kind of feel, that's interesting. There's something that we might be able to do to help, or there's something that we might be able to do in terms of taking an interest in this solution and helping to scale it up at a later date. So it's all part of this journey in terms of connecting dots, knowledge sharing, and trying to facilitate these collaborations that can enable us to find the right solutions, essentially.
Well done. Ebenezer, anything to add?
Oh, it's just to say, yes, Simon has put it perfectly, and we really want to find those solutions. We want to address the challenges, and we look forward to working with everyone.
Excellent, Ebenezer. Well done. We had a little bit of Michaela there. I think we're going to hear a bit more of her a little bit later. So Denzel, let's just tell everyone again. We're going to go through 4 videos. They're a bit of a mixture of pre-recorded PowerPoints and actual videos. Denzel, tell me, who should we have up first? Who's your video of choice, and then we'll speak to the creators of that video, of that PowerPoint afterwards.
Yeah, so I think the first one we're going to go to is biodolimer. So we've got a presentation from Environmal and Compost, and we're really pleased that we've got Emma and John on the call, who are behind that proposal, who will be able to talk after you've played the presentation and answer any questions.
Okay, so Denzel, just on an IT basis, can you see my screen?
Yep, I can see it.
And here we go.
Opportunity to present. We've got a solution on all 3 of the working projects, and I want to give you a very short slide presentation here to let you know on what our solution, and we'd be happy to take questions on. First solution, the mulch, we'll be using a compostable film as opposed to the regular polyethylene film that have been used. It's a bio-based film with a calcium filler. It's certified compostable and home compostable. It's currently being tested for soil biodegradability. It's also got reduced carbon emissions and uses a lot less energy in manufacturing. So a much more safe alternative to polyethylene product that can be composted at the end of its life. This project will be Environmal. We'll be heading up the project with 15 years of sales and distribution in environmentally friendly products. Gaia Biomaterials, which has already been approved for similar projects in the past, and Composted is the distributor in South Africa of the biodolimer product. Also going to be working very closely with the CSIR, Centre for Science, Innovation and Research, and we've identified a couple of other products. We'll be working together with a Blue Sky piloting project in Ghana, but in future we're going to be needing a manufacturing partner in Ghana. The process would be as follows, is that the material would be adjusted to achieve the desired strength, durability, and for that particular crop. We would build in the UV, the color master batch, enzymes, and there's even possibility of getting the fertilizers built into the material. Then we would manufacture pilot studies, which would be held in South Africa to test the product, test it for durability and sensitivity, etc. The manufacturing would then take place in Ghana, and we would also be ensuring that factory recycling takes place to ensure that the product is resource efficient, and sales and distribution would then be the next phase handled by Environmal. The solution that we have on offer is the protective gear, also using biodolimer, replacing polyethylene conventional protective films. So it's also biodolimer. based with a calcium filler. It is certified as home compostable, and it's already in production. So it would be a matter of just adapting it for local conditions, and it can be composted at the end of its lifetime. Partners that are producing for this project would be Environmental again, heading up the project, the sales and distribution, Gaia Biomaterials, or innovators and manufacturers of the biodynamic for this particular product, and Composted, which is the local distributor in South Africa. The CSR would be involved to assist us in microbial control, and Gaia is a converter and manufacturer of the protective gear for the initial trials, which we'd be working with Blue Sky as a pilot project. In future, we're going to be needing partners for manufacturing in Ghana, and very importantly, someone in Ghana who can be assisting with composting so that there is a complete closed circular loop in this. And that is something that we can assist with regarding training if need to be. The process would be very similar as with the previous project. The material would need to be adjusted to achieve the desired strength and durability and protection, particularly for local conditions. Producing a pilot study we would do here in South Africa to do the initial tests with local partners, but then the piloting would be done in Ghana under local field conditions. The manufacturing ideally would be taking place in Ghana, and a factory also to recycle locally to ensure efficiency and to do the composting. The third solution that we have on offer is to replace polyethylene trays and other single-use plastics with a compostable option using biodynamic as in the previous options. It is certified OK compost for home. It's also certified food safe, and it's definitely a more sustainable alternative to polyethylene. And in many cases, it's been shown to extend the shelf life of the fruit. As in this project, a similar environment would be the project head, heading up sales and distribution. Gaia Biomaterials, who are the innovators and the manufacturers of biodynamic, would also be giving us guidance and assistance with it. Composted is the local distributor for biodynamic in South Africa, and we'd be working with Provar, who do our lab testing for the end of life and the shelf lives, etc., on the products. Zebra Containers are a local converter and manufacturer of food packaging trials, which would be done for the local trial, and then the pilot will roll out again with Blue Sky in Ghana. But we would be looking for future partners to do the manufacturing in Ghana and also composting so that any leftover can be composted and we can get a full circular economy. Emma and I look forward to any questions you may have.
Wow. Could we have, as I'll just go through the tech, could we have John and Emma in, please?
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Emma. Hi, John.
Hearing your own voice on a recording, you sound.
You
sounds like
it doesn't, but you were fantastic the way that you portrayed it, and you could just tell the passion that you've got for it. And Emma, are you as excited about this as John?
Yes, of course I am. In fact, we are running a very similar project with SMEP funding already, and I know what is available for us and how much you can do with this kind of funding and how you really can develop new products that can go onto the market. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, and so Emma, you will have seen. I just got to ask this direct question. You have probably seen other not dissimilar things. Why do you think what John is presenting is different? Is it the magic? Is it the magic here? Is it the magic dust we're looking for, Emma?
Yeah, so I've been working with Gaia Biomaterial for many years. We are the distributor here, and we work with them in developing new products. And because we have a solution for all three of the calls, we think that we have a solution that can offer FRESHPPACT and holistic solution. We're working with a material, the same material for all three products. We're working with a small company in Sweden that are passionate about developing these kind of products. Because it's a small company, they're also available for us to develop new products, to ask questions and to work closely with their customers. So I think it's an excellent company to work with, and I think we have a really good product.
Excellent. Well done, John. With what you've created at the moment, just out of curiosity, have you found that you're working on very much on a solo basis, or have you found that there's a community of like-minded people, whether it be in South Africa or globally, that are all looking to create the success that we all want to see? What do you think, John?
Yes, definitely a community. I've just come back from a panel discussion at the CSIR, and I see Dr. Myers there. She was actually part of it. And Dr. Vincent I struggled to pronounce his surname, Ojijo. I hope I've got it right. The most amazing thing that we found was that everybody has got the same end goal in mind, and everybody is looking to reduce plastics, looking to a circular economy. And everybody's working towards the same end goal. It's really, really great to see.
Okay, and that's why I think there's the beauty of the likes of FRESHPPACT, because it's just assisting to hone into the solution. I've just come back from the IFPA, International Fresh Produce Association Global Produce and Floral Show, and seen some of the sustainability awards that have been awarded to the likes of innovative packaging. It looks like it's all pointing in the right direction, but there also does seem to be a bit of confusion. There seems to be lots of differing offerings out there. But if there's one thing I've learned over the last 2-3 years, it's about collaborations. And John, hence the question to you, that the more that we can collaborate, the more that we can be, I don't know if it's the right wording, but open sourced about this, the more that we can get to the solution that we all want to. Emma, am I correct?
Yeah, and John and I actually also worked for many years together in South Africa on the South African market, and we realized quite early that we needed collaboration, and we then created something called the Compostable Plastics Association that represent the industry, dealing with government, NGOs, policies, and through that we really realized that we need to work together and to find solutions. We also work with composters. We're working, trying to find solutions that work on a local basis. And I think that's what we're going to try to do in Ghana. And we have learned a lot from the process that we've gone through over the years in South Africa.
Excellent. And John, it's a bit of a jingoistic question, but I think it's very relevant for what you're doing with your business and with Emma. What's a success look like for you and your colleagues 3 years, 5 years out, please?
So I missed the last portion. What's the
success that you would like to see for what you're looking to do, for what you're looking to create 3 years, 5 years out?
Well, Max, the main thing that I'm finding is that there's a real growth and more demand for our products, and the real end goal that we're looking to create from our side is as much as possible to get a circular economy where we've got a complete closed loop situation. Very important, that's on top of my agenda, is to avoid greenwashing, because you'll see greenwashing is so, everybody puts a little green circle with an arrow on it and says my product's the best thing on the market. And that's the one thing that Emma and I are working very hard towards avoiding and getting away from. So that's really the way I see it going.
Well done. And I think we're going to see more societal change. The consumer globally is demanding more of your collective products. The more the companies, the retailers, whoever's selling the product is going to need to change. And yes, and that greenwashing is a whole debate in itself. But it's great that we've got ethical businesses such as yourself. Denzel, would you like to just come in before we swap over to the next video? So Emma, just same question to yourself. What success would you like to see from what John is looking to create, please?
No, I think he phrased it very well. For us, it's really important to find the right product for the right material, and the right material for the right product, and then to find solutions that not just producing the material and the product, but also that we find solutions for the end of life. As I said, we're working very much with legislation, with policymakers, all the way to the composters to make sure that our products are collected and they're actually composted. And I think that is the end solution for us.
Well done, Denzel. It feels a bit like if I could draw the analogy within the motor industry, that when electric cars started coming along, everyone was very skeptical about it. But why would we adopt that? And now look where we are with the electric car sector. But we won't talk about the infrastructure of electric cars globally. That's another conversation. But the more that we can look to endorse the likes of FRESHPPACT and what John and Emma are looking to do, the more success we can create in this sector, especially with FRESHPPACT. Denzel?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could say to one extent, you know, we're looking for the Tesla of the plastic world. You know, the next big thing that's going to be as widely adopted, and you know, that's what we want. We want to find something that's transformative, and you know, it's great to see some of the ideas and solutions that are coming through. And you know, and very grateful to everyone who's taking part in this showcase webinar today. Of course, you know, there are others as well who are still in the kind of development stage and not quite ready to present to the world their solutions quite yet. But certainly, you know, what we are aiming to do, and this is all part of what we're doing. It's about knowledge sharing, and you know, I keep saying it. I'll say it again: connecting those dots, scouring the world, leaving no stone unturned, and you know, sharing as much of that knowledge as possible, so that we can, you know, we can all collectively do the right thing.
Excellent, Denzel. Well done. I'm just going to line you up, Denzel, to help me with the next video. So Emma, John, you've been described as potentially the next Teslas for the plastic sector. One of you two's got to nominate yourself as Elon. I don't know whether that would be a point. You know, I'm going with that one. Emma, John, if you could turn off your videos, it'd be great to bring you in at the Q&A at the end. But thank you very much for that. That's hugely informative. Denzel, just tell us about the next video we're going to run, please.
So the next showcase is from an organisation called Kelpie, and well, I won't tell you any more because it's all in the presentation.
Okay, and just bear with me whilst I find it. I always said that it's such a pleasure dealing with IT. Here we go. Oh, Denzel, can you see my screen?
I can see it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Here we go.
Right now, about 8% of the world's oil is used to make plastic. Within 30 years, new plastics will consume 20% of all oil production. And right now, more than 99% of plastics are produced from chemicals derived from oil, natural gas, and even coal. Kelpie is setting out to change that. My name is Neil Morris. I'm the founder and chief executive of Kelpie, based in the west of England, pioneering smart materials to once and for all change the world of plastic packaging. We've devised here in the laboratory unique bioplastic materials which we intend to use to replace fossil fuel plastic packaging. We've already developed advanced prototypes. We've tested them as coatings for paper, cardboard, and other substrates. And key to our mission is ensuring that all our materials are compostable, recyclable in paper or card recycling, and marine safe at the end of life. We believe we can bring to an end the horrors of marine plastic pollution. But most of all, we've created a material that's able to match and in some cases even exceed fossil fuel plastic performance. We're a team of brilliant world-class scientists led by our CTO, Professor Chris Chuck, matched with entrepreneurial business people who are able to bring the kind of client service that you would expect of a materials innovation supplier. We start our journey with seaweed. It's a miracle crop. It soaks up carbon dioxide as it grows. It deacidifies the ocean. It doesn't require fresh water, nor fertilizer, nor land, of course. But it's a renewable feedstock, one that can grow as our ambition grows. And we can create from it a material that is fully compostable in home or industrial compost environments and marine safe. So Kelpie then takes the carbohydrates from that seaweed and creates brand new biopolymers. We use what we call novel chemical functionalization. We use chemistry to reflect how nature builds in bonds so that we can build water barriers and oxygen barriers. We program our materials with active functionality to address the specific requirements of some of our clients. We combine those biopolymers that we create to layer oxygen barrier onto grease barrier, water and water vapor barrier onto acid resistance barrier to create truly wonderful materials for food and drink packaging, cosmetics, personal care, and other goods. And from these, we build high performance, smart materials, layered biopolymer composites that we include other materials in, like cellulosic materials, in order to increase rigidity or dial up and down on certain functionalities. And all our materials are designed to be compatible with current production infrastructure so that we can rapidly scale up to meet demand. Here you see the kind of barrier performances we're able to achieve. The ABA films in green here reflect our composites, which in terms of oxygen permeability have a lower permeability, far lower than LDPE and lower even than PET. So those composite materials then, with their excellent barrier properties, have been designed to work effectively in food packaging environments. They'll deliver high and low temperature operating range capabilities. They're heat sealable and of course, a low carbon end to end throughout the process. Right now, we're prototyping those thin coating solutions applied to paper, paperboard, carton board, card, molded fiber trays and others, all ideal for use in the food and drink industry and in others like cosmetics. From early next year, we'll be seeking the regulatory approval that we need to use these materials in food packaging worldwide. And in parallel to that regulatory approval, we'll be piloting at-scale production runs with third-party manufacturers, so that from early 2024, we should be able to roll out full-scale commercial trials and scale our production capability in partnership with a global packaging giant with which we're already under contract. So in summary then, we've got a unique material with an excellent long-term water barrier, and yet when it finds itself at sea, it biodegrades naturally. It's truly compostable. It's recyclable in paper and card recycling. But this multi-layer composite material has been developed to have an oxygen barrier that's better than that of LDPE, comparable even to PET, and can be used on standard industrial machinery. Thank you for your time today. I'm sorry I can't be there with you, but I'd love to take any questions that you can file and look forward to speaking to you in the future.
Wow. Denzel, come back in. Just want to say I love the format of these presentations that we're having come in. I'm just going to refer back to my recent trip to Orlando, to the International Fresh Produce Association Global Produce Show. I did an interview there with one of the best marketing companies I know within fresh produce. All of their product is very well branded in plastic. And then off camera, we were talking about the issues about plastic and plastic recycling, and they got such a frustration. And one of the main frustrations they've got, Denzel, is that the film that goes on top of the plastic carton has a glue on it. The film can be recycled, the plastic carton can be recycled, but the glue cannot be recycled, and that's causing them the biggest problem. And then we've got this. We've got Kelpie who basically turned it on its head and come up with a completely different solution that actually might be better than plastic, Denzel.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting proposal. I've got to be careful. I've got to maintain a sort of a objective, neutral position. But I think it's certainly something that would be interesting to investigate. It's a kind of hot topic of the day, actually. I think there's a seaweed-based solution which is a finalist in the Earthshot Prize, as kind of the Prince William's kind of environmental competition. So yeah, I mean, whether this can meet the criteria that we're looking for in FRESHPPACT, I think it would be interesting to sort of find out more. And we're looking forward to receiving the proposal that is being put together. And and I know Neil apologizes he couldn't be here, but if anyone does have questions, then he's happy to receive those. And
no problem. It's fascinating, isn't it? There's so much seaweed in the world within agriculture. There's a number of companies that use seaweed as organic fertilizer, and it's just never ending. There's so much seaweed out there. So for it to be repurposed for this, I think is I know you have to take that neutral stance. I'm just going to be completely biased towards everyone because I think they're all fantastic solutions. Also, I think what's going to be really interesting, and I'm sure everyone that's on today and everyone listening has considered this, that there's so many there's a select number of other businesses who are producing really interesting coatings for fresh produce that are organic coatings that further extend the shelf life of the product. So in combination with the correct packaging, with those coatings, if you come to me or look at any of our Beanstalk interviews that we did from the IFPA, you'll see some of those companies that we interviewed. So Denzel, there's a really interesting combination there that for the consumer, for the retailer, there might be a double whammy here, that we've got this fantastic compostable packaging, as well as innovative new technology that's extending the life of the product. So you think of food waste alone, there's 1.5 million bananas are thrown away every day in the UK as a crazy example. And if you extrapolate that across all fresh produce, so with the solutions that FRESHPPACT are coming up with and other technology, it could be a very interesting time ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's a lot of exciting ideas out there, and I think and that's part of the challenge. It's, how do you sort of navigate through all of these ideas and sort of distinguish between those which genuinely could solve the problem and those which are, of course, as Emma and John were talking about, sort of a more towards greenwash, and because this is not obviously sustainability and environmental credentials are so important, that you have more and more of these companies offering to kind of solve all the problems, but that there are other unintended consequences that you need to pay careful attention to, which is why what we're trying to do through SMEP and through FRESHPPACT, why together with those that are putting forward proposals, we're ensuring that we're making sure that it's not just the plastics pollution mitigation, but also looking at things like what is the carbon footprint, what is the impact on biodiversity, what is the impact on waste, are there any issues around human rights, social implications that we need to look at when we're looking for those solutions. But yeah, and to go back to your question, it is exciting, but that also makes it more difficult.
Well done. And just top it and telling Kelpie, what I like is that they've got the intellectual horsepower in respect of the scientific individuals within their business, and they've also got the business acumen as well, because there's a number of startup businesses that never quite get there because they don't have the commercial ability, or you've got the commercial guys that don't have the scientific ability. And it looks by the presentation that we just had that they got that mixture of both. So fingers crossed. Let's see what happens with them with themselves in the future. Talk to us about presentation 3, please, Denzel.
So yeah, now we're going back to South Africa, and we are hearing a presentation from CSIR. And then I think afterwards we're going to speak to Dr. Meyer, who's joined.
Yes, we got Dr. Meyer today. I can't wait to hear from Dr. Meyer. So here we go. Oh, I'm just going to get rid of that. Not rid of you, Kelpie, but just move you aside. CSR. Can you see my screen, Denzel?
Currently, I can just see your folders.
Okay, right, Denzel. Just fill for me as I wax lyrical around my desktop.
Yeah. No worries at all. It was always good to have a sort of technical challenge thrown in, keep us all on our toes. Yeah, I can see it now.
Fantastic. Here we go.
And the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research South Africa, we are developing different biodegradable polymers for various applications, including mulching in agricultural sector. My name is Vincent Ojijo, and I'm the research group leader for the Advanced Polymer Composite Group at the CSIR. Now, we are based in South Africa in 5 different locations, including in Pretoria, Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, and Stellenbosch. And we have about 2,140 staff members, out of which 1,512 are set-based, with about 314 of those having PhDs. And our mission is collaboratively innovating and localizing technologies while providing knowledge solutions for inclusive and sustainable advancement of industry and society. The current biodegradable mulch film project that we are running is funded by the UK government, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, through the Sustainable Manufacturing and Environmental Pollution Program. And the title for the project is Biodegradable Mulch Films with Customized Biodegradation Rates in Natural Soil Conditions in Sub-Saharan Countries. And in this, we partnered with the Lizade University in Nigeria to execute the project. So what problem are we trying to solve? We know that there is an uptake of conventional plastic mulches due to the benefits that one derives from them, including increased crop yield, enhanced early maturity, retention of water, modification of soil, microclimate, control of weeds, decreased use of pesticides, and prevention of soil erosion. However, we know that these materials are non-biodegradable, which means that at the end of the crop growing season, they have to be taken out of the field and disposed of at cost. And typically, these are not recycled. And this is primarily due to contamination from soil and plant debris. And if left in the field for long, they tend to disintegrate into microplastics, which are washed off or accumulate in soil, leading to ecological problems. As a solution, the project aims to develop bespoke, fully biodegradable mulch films that synchronizes climate-specific rates of film biodegradation to crop life cycle through unique modifications of biopolymers with locally sourced or beneficiated natural polymers such as starch, cellulose, and lignin. Now, these PDMs are going to have the same benefits as the conventional plastic mulches, but unlike the conventional plastic mulches, they will be fully biodegradable into carbon dioxide, water, and biomass. And due to this full biodegradability in soil, it means that the BDMs can be plowed back into the soil at the end of crop growing season, and therefore minimizing cost of disposal. And at the end of life option of full biodegradation also solves the microplastic pollution problem that is normally encountered in the conventional plastic mulches. And the uniqueness with the BDMs that are being developed at the CSIR is that we are trying to customize the service life of these mulches, because we know that different crops have different life cycles, and therefore there has to be a customized solution for each and every crop type. We are currently in phase 2 of the project, which is the actual research and development of the BDMs. The previous phase, which is phase 1, we had initial round of stakeholder engagement where we tried to understand the user requirements for the BDMs. This informed the current pathways that we are taking in the development. The next financial year, which starts from April 2023, we will be running field trials in Nigeria. And now we propose to join Ghana in these field trials. What we intend to do is to comparatively do agronomical evaluation tests for the BDMs that are developed at the CSIR in comparison to commercially available BDMs. I thank you for listening.
Dr. Meyer, could you come in, please? I've lost my lead. Everyone, I love the fact that there's a real bias towards a positive bias towards Ghana in a number of these presentations. If you haven't been to Ghana, I was trying to explain to one of the Blue Skies team earlier that has recently joined, who hasn't been to Ghana yet, that Ghana is amazing, chaotic, and full of people, and it's full of smiles, and it's full of happiness, and it's just an amazing place. So if you ever get the chance to go to Ghana, you must go. Dr. Maya, have you been to Ghana?
No, I've not been to Ghana.
Okay, what are you doing this weekend? I will pick you up and we will go to Ghana.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
No problem. Could you tell us a little bit more about CSIR, please?
CSIR, it's the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, and it's one of the premier research organizations in Africa. Yeah. And it is comprising of several research divisions. So in our division, we are part of the Center for Nanostructures and Advanced Materials, and that's actually divided into 7 research groups. Wow. And we are part of the Advanced Polymer Composites Research Group. And our research focus is mainly on developing materials from renewable resources and biopolymers. We actually have 3 focus areas, as in we work on valorization of waste, where we use agricultural waste residues or industrial waste residues to develop further products. Then we also develop bio-based materials. So these can be natural fiber composites or biopolymer blends, so as to replace the conventional plastic products. And then we also do the end-of-life studies. So here we look at recycling projects, and also we do the biodegradation testing of biodegradable and bio-based materials. Yeah. Because, as we all know, and just because something is biodegradable, it doesn't mean that it's going to disappear now and soon. Yeah. You have to establish the conditions and timeframes of biodegradation.
Yeah, and the work, the such valuable work that you and your colleagues are doing within Africa is so important. For those who haven't traveled through Africa, I'm sure my stat is still the same, that the 10 fastest growing cities in the world are all in Africa, because there's just this ongoing urbanization, this move into the cities, and the cities aren't catered for. And Dr. Meyer, feel free to correct me, are not catered for recycling perhaps as well as we are within the likes of the UK or America. And my travels, the amount of plastic that you see is just amazing, to the point of being appalling. So if we can create this, as we were saying earlier in the presentations, the societal change, that instead of plastic being offered out for whatever purpose, if there is a product that might be coming through the FRESHPPACT initiative, might be through from Dr. Maya and her colleagues, and those consumers, whether they be in Africa, UK, Europe, America, using those, and they're biodegradable, we won't be leaving this legacy that we currently are at the moment. And hence why it's so important that we have the likes of Dr. Maya on. So Dr. Maya, do you think we can, whether it be through yourself or with the other partners that we got on, or whether it be through FRESHPPACT, do you think we can find the solution that we're all looking for?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you see, the idea is we need to choose the right product. We are not going around saying that we need to change all products from fossil fuel to biopolymers. That's not going to make sense. We need to choose the right product. And what are these products? If you can recycle a product, please go ahead and do it. That's the first choice. But there are products that cannot be recycled because it's either contaminated with soil, like mulch, or it's contaminated with food, like a packaging carton, or it's contaminated with biomedical waste. So all these products, they are suitable for being replaced with compostable plastics. So yes, we can certainly find a solution.
And so do you think it's going to be more of a blended approach? So there won't be, it won't be New Year's Eve 2023 and we stop using plastic and we start using another product. Will there be an ongoing blended approach whilst the technology comes through from the likes of your colleagues and the other people we're talking to? So do you think there will be that blended approach where we look to solve this problem?
Yes, absolutely. Plastics will be used, fossil fuel conventional plastics will be used for a variety of products. But for certain niche products, we can switch to biopolymers and compostable plastics.
Excellent. And I've just had a question from WhatsApp that I was actually going to save for the Q&A, but it'd be interesting to hear your view. Do you get support from large international multinationals as to the work that you're doing, or you and your colleagues are a bit of a lone voice? Do those companies, do they look to collaborate, or do they push you away?
Well, we are working with, manufacturers, manufacturers who produce these biopolymers, who are interested in us producing different kind of products with these biopolymers. And then they're also interested in looking at the market, especially the African market, to see how well the consumers, will be able, how receptive they are to these kind of products.
Yeah, well done. And are you positive about the future? All of this work that everyone is doing, you, your colleagues, FRESHPPACT, the other people that we got on, are you positive that we can find this solution?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure we can find a solution. This is something that I, tell my students as well. We are, I think, at the right time. All of these buzzwords, sustainability, biopolymers, plant-friendly, all of these, we are at the right time. And I tell my students this, sustainability now can no longer be a choice. It needs to be a conscious decision that one takes at every stage of our lives.
Yeah, well said. And we were talking about it earlier in my office that there's that generation under 25 that they're now, if they're going to go work for a company, they want to make sure that company is hitting the sustainability goals that they as an individual want. And it goes back to what John was saying earlier, that we can't have that greenwashing. And I think any of those companies that are deploying greenwashing as part of their marketing strategy will be very quickly found out. Whilst in the meantime, with the likes of the work that you're doing with your colleagues, we can create the situation, the solution. Denzel, you're going to come back in, please. So that's so again, that's the third presentation that we've had in Denzel. I know you've got to be neutral, but what were your thoughts, please?
Yeah, no, again, really interesting, and I think the potential for some collaborations that there certainly seems to be, which is what we're looking out for, and I'm just happy to see that there's a range of options for the various challenges that we've set, and within that opportunity for some of those to be working together, which is fantastic. We started this thinking, or maybe we won't get any solutions, and we'll put out our challenges, and we'll be looking at nothing. And actually, as we get closer to the deadline, there's some really interesting opportunities out there. So very much looking forward to the next phase, the next part, which is to obviously, to having received all these different proposals, to really closely evaluate them and then develop them into some really comprehensive plans, so that we can properly test these to see whether they can be sort of scaled up and widely adopted.
Well done. Ebenezer, do you want to just come back in? And again, all credit to Ebenezer Denzel in the respect of setting up the FRESHPPACT initiative, and also to Blue Skies. Blue Skies is such an amazing business, and there's no other fresh sector business who's gone to this to create this difference within the sector. They're real leaders rather than followers in the changes that they're looking to make. Ebenezer, what have been your initial takeaways from the first three presentations we've had, please?
Yeah, thanks so much, Max. Yeah, it's been fantastic to hear the presentations, to listen to the presenters, to listen to the solutions. I think obviously, as Simon said earlier, it's what we're doing here mainly is around knowledge sharing, and it's great to see what other people are doing to obviously address the same problem that we're trying to address. And it's good to see how through FRESHPPACT we're creating these linkages and really trying to address this problem around plastics through a concerted effort. And I think it's great to see, because very often when we talk about sustainability issues and you're very passionate about it and you're talking about it, a lot of the arguments that get sort of fed back are, well, we always talk about sustainability, but no one does anything about it. And I think with what we can see in FRESHPPACT is that, we are doing something about it. And it's about bringing all of those solutions together, working collaboratively to address a very complex problem.
Well done. And Ebenezer has been so good with Michaela, his daughter, who's just drifted off. But this is why we're doing it, for that generation, because we won't be on this earth for every day. It's for that generation, the next generation, that we've got to create this solution. So Denzel, shall we move on to the next video? And would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, so next up, we've got a presentation from Graydon Lloyd, and I'm very happy that we've got Robert Bell also on the call, who'll hopefully be able to answer some questions afterwards.
Fantastic. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Dental, can you see my screen?
Not yet. I can see your folder again.
Right. Okay. If you could just fill for me as I work out the tech, that would be great.
Yeah, whatever you did last time, it worked.
I know, that's what I'm trying to do. Denzel, tell us about Ghana. Why do you love Ghana?
Oh, Ghana! It's the country. It's my second home. It's a wonderful place, and spent many years there, and met my wife there as well. And it's a place that I missed dearly during the pandemic because I couldn't travel out. But yeah, it's a wonderful place, wonderful people, incredible sort of vibe when you're there, and you can sort of feel the enterprising spirit that's among people within that country, and obviously the place where Blue Skies started. And you've got 3 factories there, employing 3,500 people at its peak, and it's a wonderful place to be. It's where the magic happens.
It's where the magic happens. Talking of magic, can you see my screen?
No, sorry, Max. You can just still see your folder.
Right, you're gonna have to fill for a little bit longer. Bear with me, everyone. Can I just make a suggestion, Robert? If I have a problem with this, which might be a problem at my end, might have to get you, Robert, to do it at your end, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll look it up now and then have it ready. Yeah.
That's what I like about working with professionals like Robert, because they're just used to the anarchy that I create. So everyone, I'm running around here at the back end of my screen, trying to find things to figure out, and it's oops, no, I clicked the wrong one now. So I would order just fill. Oh, here we go. Get rid of you. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, I think, Robert, we're going to have to deploy you, I'm afraid.
Well, okay. Let me just get the one without the voiceover, and I've just found it. So can I share the screen and then? Yeah.
Just bear with me. Share. Now I've gone and locked myself. Hold on. So, Robert, just tell us about your relationship with them, with FRESHPPACT, please. Once I figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to just share the screen? Is the point?
Yes. Robert, I'm just in the back end, just trying to sort everything out. So I just need you to fill for a little bit.
Okay, fine. Well, my name's Rob Bell, and I'm one of a group of people who've been extremely interested in this FRESHPPACT challenge. Let me make it very clear that I'm humble in this throng, because there's a lot of scientists who know a lot more about the detail than I do. But the key point that we're bringing to the table is that my background is in supply chains, and on that basis, in the last couple of years.
Robert, sorry, can you just turn your video on?
Yeah, just a second.
Thank you. And Denzel, if you want to drop out, and we'll run with Robert, because he's going to do a fantastic job for us. Thank you. Sorry about that, everyone. With this, as I said in our green room, we also have a technical issue when we're doing presentations. Here's Robert. Fantastic. Thank you, Robert. Carry on.
Right. So let me just understand one thing. Do you want me to put the presentation?
Yes, please.
And get going? Yep.
Yep, that'd be great.
Right. Let's do that. So let's.
And Robert, I take it you're not like our brilliant John Fox, that you're not in Cape Town today?
No, I'll explain that as well.
Excellent.
I'm actually in Cottingham, which is a place in East Yorkshire, a village. I've spent most of my professional life all over the place, and came back to my hometown of Hull a few years ago. So that's where I am today. So everybody else was extremely disciplined on 5 minutes. So I'll do my very best. And the opening comment has to be my humility amongst a lot of people who know the science far better than I, and I'm not going to attempt to hide that. So let's get started. Clearly, we've looked at the challenges. We've looked at the 3 challenges, and I'll explain why as we go. Graydon Lloyd is no more than a catalyst, if you like, of a number of specialist individuals like myself, but also scientists and the rest of it. And what we've done is we've put together a consortium which starts and is focused upon the user case coming out of the companies to the left. That's Equans. And Equans came out of the company Engie, which is a French company, and Equans is into facilities management. Why did we focus with them? Because they use workwear in huge quantities. And Bouygues, which is a French company that bought out of Equans out of Engie, is very prominent across Africa. And again, uses workwear in huge volumes. Now back to Equans, they also have a lot of presence in food service, which means that many of the elements of apparel that are required are the ones that we can focus and have a look at. Up on the top left, there are a number of elements to our partnerships that have been detailed on everybody else's presentations, but I haven't detailed them here. So for example, in Ghana, we have an agreement now with Alfie Design, and they actually make apparel in Ghana, and it's very important, we felt, to get a manufacturing unit on the ground. And the other reason why we're interested in them is they're small, and they give us an ability to lab test some of the things we're trying to do. So I'll move on and say that the challenge, as far as we're seeing it, needs to be developed around what are we discovering. So we've been in a lot of dialogue about the three challenges, and specifically with Equans. What do they have? What are they using? And what kind of volumes? The volumes are big. And then out of that, we want to define with a proof of concept alternatives. And that does bring us into the science. It does bring us into composite materials. I use composite materials because I've done quite a lot of work in metals over at Sheffield with the advanced manufacturing unit. And I also work a lot with next generation manufacturing in Canada, both of whom we've talked to about materials, not using the same vocabulary as we've heard so far. So the idea is that we go out and get the user case. So it's almost the exact opposite of the others. What we're doing is we're starting with an existing huge buyer and looking at how they can not greenwash. I'm pleased that everybody's mentioned that. And Equans briefed within this is we do not want to greenwash our clients. We want to move to sustainable products in all that we do. And so what we are doing is looking to do pretty much what others have said so far. I didn't put all the science in because the university that we are working with, the research unit, there are two, and we haven't finalized the one that's going, I'm afraid, but we will have a university research department with us. I've run a lot of this by UCC in Ghana. The reason I've been in Ghana, which is worth mentioning at this point, is that we've been working with a project which is on LinkedIn called Project Kenton, which I've been the lead on, and it's all about post-harvest losses in Ghana and across Africa. And so we're working with UCC, that's the University of Cape Coast, RMU in Accra, and also Durham University here in the UK, where I'm a visiting fellow. So the specific work modules that we're involved in, I don't think there's any need to go through that. They're quite generic. But what I can say is that Equans and the user case come from it gives us a very good insight into all of their supplier partnerships as is. So we propose to do an audit to get what's happening and then move forward. I think there's quite a lot of scope as we do this and as we look at the sustainability analysis to actually define that. And dare I say it, I think there could be some collaborations that we can look at. Again, for want of respecting the time, I won't detail that. How can we deliver this? We're saying our strength is probably the user case, looking at those sustainability gaps, and then moving to identify the materials. If we talk workwear, we're already looking at a number of scientific elements that I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of the August throng, but we do have the scientists that I just haven't included on this sheet. Obviously, the technical readiness levels that we're all recognizing, and I've just put down the phasing of how we propose to detail it. Technical performance, design attributes. One of the things that comes out of the user case is the facilities management that they do is in the NHS, a lot of the work here in the UK. And so we're looking at design attributes which really do qualify for some pretty rigorous standards. So that's what I mean by design attributes. Materials, I've already mentioned what we're hoping to do. Manufacturing, I think we're moving very strongly in there. And so the testing criteria, I had mentioned earlier that we've got Spheric Sage who do the carbon footprint measurement for Equans, and we hope to work with them on this as well. So aprons and oversleeves, we're moving on. Gloves, we also in position, and hairnets and beard, the same. So this is what we're hoping to do. User case, I've emphasized this in a very generic way, thinking it was better to hold back on the science because that's the bit that's going to go into the proposal, if you're wondering. And so this is what we're hoping to do and map forward. We're looking at the single-use plastic because of the fact that the companies I've mentioned have the exact same problem. And an interesting point on mulch, one of the things I would like to talk with the others who've already presented is that this self-same company has huge quantities of throwaway, which is going to landfill. And so what we are interested in is working and collaborating, and hopefully within the FRESHPPACT family that's emerging, to do that. So I think at that point, the summary and the framework that we're talking about, I've mentioned, and that's the wrap up. I hope I've come in at a reasonable time, and the humility for all others who have led on the science. Sorry about that, but I didn't include that because that's in the document. So there we are.
Brilliant, Robert. Thank you. Can you just stop your screen share? And
I can, if I can find it. Hang on.
and the reason why we had our technical issue was that was all a ploy to get you to come on live, because we thought you would be better live than a pre-record, if you believe me. But I think everyone, where we've been very privileged today in the last hour, is to have these presentations that not only cover the elements of packaging of fruits and other fresh produce, but workwear. Robert, workwear is such a huge byproduct of the food system, isn't it? The stats in Ghana are amazing. That collectively, I think, and Denzel will help me on this, in Ghana alone, which is only a population of 22 million in West Africa, they produce in excess of 1 million tons of plastic waste from the food sector, and only 5% of that is recycled, and that's Ghana. Only 22 million, as we said earlier with Dr. Mayer. The 10 fastest growing cities in the world are in Africa, let alone the rest of the states and Europe and Asia. So Robert, with the work that you've done, I'm going to ask the question that we have of everyone else. You're excited?
Oh gosh, one of the things that excites me is that we've just done a year with Project Kenton, which is all about post-harvest losses, which means that we've been doing value stream mapping literally from the field to the fork and looking at all of the elements that are involved. And one of the big issues, of course, is packaging. And I don't mean packaging that you see just on the shelf. I mean packaging through the whole process, even down to the standardization of sizes, all of that stuff. And we've been looking upstream and downstream in that particular project. And downstream, we walk into a supermarket, we do whatever in that regard, and you suddenly see all this plastic. I stayed at a hotel near Tema, and I had a fantastic view of the ocean, and I went down for a swim, and I could have probably decided to just sweep up a little bit of the plastic and go out and do some surfing. It was that bad. Beautiful hotel, but terrible on plastic. So that really piqued my interest. And I think on workwear, the situation across Africa, as the food industry wishes to compete, is very acute. And I'll tell you for why I'm really interested is that Ghana has this wonderful fecund ability to grow almost anything. Yeah. But if you look at the figures, the imports of basic vegetables and fruits is ridiculous. Yeah. Onions from Niger, tomatoes from Burkina Faso, a disaster. So what we hope is that food market will grow domestically, closer to the big cities and not just the rural, because you can't attract young people into this industry because they think it's this low-tech, rural, traditional industry. And so in a sense, this is also showing, and I think all of the other presentations have done it far better than I have, this is an exciting industry to be around. Yeah. And youth hasn't quite got that message, remarkably. They might have the message, don't get into fast fashion, buy something in the wardrobe that will last. But being in that industry isn't something they're in. So I'm ecstatic is the word I would use.
Fantastic. Denzel, do you want to just come back in? And Robert, with Blue Skies, we just must quickly mention the Blue Skies School Farm project that they created this project a number of years ago because they were very, very worried about the urbanization that was happening, and so they created the Farm School project, and all the main schools in the area around Blue Skies in Ghana, they all get presented tools, seed, fertilizer, and there's a competition to grow the best veg. And I think it was 18 months ago, Denzel, you and I hosted the School Farm Awards from the UK, and Robert, some of these kids out there, they were coming out with Excel spreadsheets showing the profit and loss of the cucumbers that they were growing. So there was me thinking, oh, this is just going to be fairly basic, but actually they got it and they were so excited about it. And as Denzel will say, that the likes of the School Farms project, it encourages more kids to come into school, so the attendance rates are better, and even teachers are now growing because they've got the bug themselves. So it's just moving away from that urbanization. So Denzel, and again, I know you've got to be neutral, but yet another stellar presentation from Robert.
Yeah, no, absolutely, a great presentation, and I think really interesting, sort of looking at the angle around sort of supply chain, the user case. I think is important too. The economic model is important to look at, and I think where we're talking about something that can be adopted in another industry. I know sort of the healthcare industry was talked about, which is very important, and also that openness to collaboration, which is obviously something we're very keen on too. So yeah, very interesting.
And Denzel and Ebenezer, come on in if you're available. I think what is also great is what Robert has stated, and I think that you sort of envisaged but didn't know what's going to happen. This FRESHPPACT community, this FRESHPPACT family that you're creating of collaboration. Ebenezer, would you agree?
Yes, certainly, Max. I think there is, as Robert has very astutely observed, there is this family of collaborative entities that is sort of growing out of what we're doing in FRESHPPACT, and that's good to see, because the intention is to foster collaboration amongst a great many other things. So yeah, I agree entirely.
Robert.
Yeah, may I just say that back to the science for a second, which I clearly didn't elaborate on. There's a couple of reasons, but one of the issues that we were having is that, let's say we get the user case, let's say we define the needs, let's say that we get into Ghana and find a local manufacturing unit, and indeed we have somebody who's been working on ethical apparel Africa. That's Adjo Asare, who's the person who's going to work with me very closely. Let's say all of that. But the problem is that in Ghana, the actual production of a lot of this, a lot of the materials that we really need is elusive. So, for example, Adjo was in Ethiopia last week. We've done some work with coffee in Ethiopia, so I'm familiar with that. The reality is that, in a sense, there's all of what has been said. But then in terms of investment, there may well be another element to this, which is promoting the growing of the raw material in quantities that can actually then satisfy what we're trying to achieve within Ghana. Because in a sense, some of the work that we've been looking at on apparel may, in the first phase, require the importation of material, which can then be worked on in Ghana, which wasn't necessarily the way we were looking. So our delay on the science was actually looking specifically at sourcing everything within Ghana, which probably I've misled myself on a little bit. But nonetheless, it did release a set of questions for us in terms of, my gosh, the opportunity to grow cotton, for example, is enormous. And at the moment, it's the French-speaking Africans that are doing a better job. You know, Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, all of those are doing a hell of a better job in terms of cotton growing. And then if we go to silk, and then if we go to all of the other ones, as with onions, as with tomatoes, Ghana has such an enormous opportunity to substitute its own imports. And that's the problem that we were struggling with, because we couldn't get the material solution within Ghana easily. So that's another story, but sorry to
Robert.
interrupt that.
Robert, thank you. Denzel, housekeeping point, we've overrun as normal. Do you want to bring everyone in, Denzel, for a quick five-minute Q&A, and then we wrap up?
Yeah, fantastic. That'd be great if everyone's willing to.
Emma, John, Dr. Mayer, if you could just come back in, that'd be fantastic. John, what's your takeaway from the other presentations that you've seen, please?
You know, there's one key word for me that really sticks out, and that is collaboration. There's so many similarities between the different projects, and so many overlaps. And I know for, like, Gaia, for example, has already made a lot of headway on a lot of these projects. And if we can share the collaboration and we can work together on this, I think, to me, that is a win-win situation with everyone. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, I mean, for example, on the mulch, I know Gaia's got a solution, and I know the CSR is working on a solution. And if we can run them all in tandem as opposed to reinventing the wheel, I think we'll actually get to a solution a lot quicker than having to, at the end of the year, find out, well, we need to rework it or readjust it or think. But to run them all in tandem, I think, to me, that's a win-win situation.
John, I completely agree with you. My father, who's retired, he was a biochemist, and he did 35 years research on cancer, and he got so frustrated going to various conferences globally that he would find there was another him in Kenya or America doing exactly the same thing, and they weren't allowed to collaborate. And you would hope now that in this age, and especially everything that we've been through over the last 2-3 years, we need to see that collaboration. So Emma, on the basis that if we jump for the stars, we might touch the ceiling. Come on, let's challenge ourselves, Emma, with everything that you've seen in your experience and FRESHPPACT. What more can we do using FRESHPPACT, do you think, to really touch the stars rather than just brushing the ceiling?
No, I think it's very important, and I also think that I came out of this presentation's importance of not having just a solution, but then implementing locally and encourage local manufacturing, local production, local end-of-use systems. It's one thing sitting in Cape Town, as I do, with a solution, but we actually need to encourage local manufacturing, and I think that's what I can take out mostly, and to collaborate in that. And I think that all of the presentations today had fantastic solutions, and that when we can learn from each other and we can collaborate, and to then bring all of those knowledge to Ghana would be amazing.
Yeah, Emma, well done. Within the UK, 60% of our GDP is generated by small businesses, and we always sometimes look at the bigger businesses because they're always in the headlights. But actually, if we can look to create the technology collectively, and smaller businesses, wherever they are globally, deploy that technology, and they can create businesses and employ people, that's going to be very exciting. Ebenezer, what do you think?
Yes, Max, I think that is, absolutely right. And I'm glad that thread of collaboration is coming out, of this showcase, this showcase webinar. And I agree with Emma's point as well. We've got to build local capacity, for manufacturing, but also beyond manufacturing, we've also got to help build local capacity for some of the things that Robert was talking about. And that's why within FRESHPPACT, as you recall, Max, when we visited Ghana, we had a roundtable stakeholder event where we're trying to engage local policymakers to try and sort of put some of these issues on their radars, in terms of local policies that need to be put in place to help encourage local manufacturing, to help encourage local production of source items, etc. So I think it's a big challenge, but we're on the right track, and I think we're going to end up with something fantastic very soon.
Okay, well, just from my perspective, having been involved with this from the start on a media perspective, it's just building. This is so exciting, and the lines of FRESHPPACT: define the problem, discover the solution, change the world. It's like Robert said in his presentation, what's the problem we're trying to solve? And there's so many aspects to this, whether it be workwear, whether it be plastic packaging, whether it be employment. Denzel, do you want to wrap up for us? Just cautious of the time. This has been hugely enlightening from my perspective, and as per the feedback that I'm getting online. Denzel, over to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd just like to thank all the presenters today and for everyone who's taken part. It's been really good to see some of these ideas brought to life in these presentations and giving us a sense of the kind of solutions that are going to be submitted. So very grateful to everyone, and I hope, ultimately, I hope this helps to perhaps create a few linkages, whether it's among the panel members and those who presented, or among those who are in the audience watching on the various channels that I know this is going out in. And I just obviously would encourage people to please get in touch. If you want more information, if you want us to put you in touch with any of the people presenting today, then do get in touch, and I can facilitate that contact. But yeah, no, really great to see. It's inspiring, it's exciting, and can't wait to see how we can start testing some of these ideas.
Ebenezer, do you want to wrap up on the back of your university, please, and your colleagues?
Yes. So obviously, to echo Simon's comments, on behalf of us at the University of Northampton, who are the coordinating research and project management partners for FRESHPPACT, we'd like to thank everybody for coming, and thank you for these wonderful presentations. Let's keep the momentum, let's keep the collaboration, and let's look forward to doing something fantastic with these solutions as we move forward to obviously testing some of them.
Ebenezer, well done, thank you. So thank you, John, Robert, Emma, Dr. Mayer, Denzel, Ebenezer. FRESHPPACT: define the problem, discover the solution, change the world. We're feels like only a few months in, probably a year into this. It's not a project now, as Robert intimated. It is now a family. It is a community that is going to change the world. Everyone, thank you very much for your time. Have a great weekend, especially if you're in Cape Town and not rainy Britain. And we'll see you again very, very shortly. Thank you.